welcome to Board Game Basics Aussie Summer Edition.
Yeah.
Which is a change.
It is.
I'm Patrick.
And I'm Robert.
Each episode we'll try and talk about a board game and a card game. Hosting for this episode is provided by Gameology, Australia's largest gaming warehouse.
Thank
In this
you.
episode we have a special guest on, and their name is...
Caitlin.
And how old are you, Caitlin?
13.
Hi, Caitlin. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for
Thanks.
joining us today.
We're talking about Cludeo and Spyfall.
They are. Now, these are two games that Caitlin has been wanting to come on and talk about because... Tell us why.
Because I like them.
Oh, so you like
They're
these
fun.
games. Yeah. I remember playing Spyfall with you and you were like, oh, I love this game.
I like being...
It's a lot of fun.
I like trying to pretend I'm the spy, like say, I'm the spy, and go like, when you got to ask the question to pretend to be struggling, and then everyone thinks I'm the spy.
Normally we ask for your top 3 games. Do you have a list of your top 3 games?
No, I just Cludeo and Spyfall.
Cludeo and Spyfall. Well, I have spoken to your mother and asked you guys to look up a game called Awkward Guests that was coming out. It was on Kickstarter, and it will be out later in the year.
Okay, so now
there
we're
you
going to
go.
talk about Cluedo. Cluedo is a game for 3 to 6 players, depending on what version you have.
Yeah, how many can play your one, Caitlin?
2 to 6.
Ah,
Like Betrayal at House on the Hill. 3
Yep.
to 6 for us. It takes 40 minutes playing time. Age 8 plus. Weight 1.64.
6. There you go. And yeah, this is going off of the 2 to 6 player one on BGG because we couldn't find our one, which if I have a look underneath, I can't see anything special about our game. Yeah, they have lots of different names. This one is done by Parker Brothers, as we were talking about earlier or later last year. Patrick keeps pointing to the designer, Patrick Otley. So where we've picked this one up says Clue, because Clue American. We'll get to that in a minute.
Why isn't it still called Cluedo in that one then?
Well, you'll find out. Now, do you want to... We'll go to Wikipedia. How about we go to Wikipedia and we just read a little bit of the Cluedo facts first, Patch? Do you want to give it a go?
Cluedo is, as known as Clue in North America, is a murder mystery game for 3 to 6 players that was... I can't read
That
from
was
there.
devised by Anthony E. Pratt from Birmingham, England.
The game was first manufactured by Waddington's in the UK in 1949. Since then, it has been relaunched and updated several times, and it's currently owned and published by the American game and toy company Hasbro. The object of the game is to determine. It doesn't say that. It says determinate.
Okay.
Who murdered the game's victim, Dr. Black in the UK version and Mr. Brody in North American versions. Where the crime took place and which weapon was used. Each player assumes the role of one of the 6 suspects and attempts to deduce the correct answer by strategically moving around a game board representing the rooms of a mansion and collecting clues about the...
You want me to take over?
I can't read that
You
bit
can't.
there.
I've got it a bit hard for you today. Deduce the correct answer by strategically moving around a game board representing the rooms of a mansion and collecting clues about the circumstance of the murder
from other players.
So, numerous games, books, a film called Clue, and a musical have been released as part of the Cluedo franchise. Several
didn't know
spin-offs
that.
have been released featuring various extra characters, weapons, rooms, or different gameplay. The original game is marketed as the classic detective game, and the various spin-offs are all distinguished by different slogans. So in 2008, Cluedo Discover the Secrets was created, with changes to the board, gameplay and characters, and a modern spin-off. But it was criticised in the media and by fans of the original game. Cluedo, the classic mystery game, was then introduced in 2012, returning to Pratt's classic formula, but also adding several variations. By 2016, Hasbro launched the current standard version of the game, with the first new original character in over 67 years, Dr. Orchid. So, there you go. Now, I don't know if Caitlin, if you would like to, if we can get this over to you. It's a bit of a reach. Maybe have a look at reading some of the history that it says there about Cluedo.
In 1944, Anthony E. Pratt, an English musician, applied for a patent of his invention of a murder mystery themed game, originally named Murder. Shortly thereafter, Pratt and his wife Elva Pratt, who had helped the designing in the game, presented it to Waddington's exclusive Norman Watson, who immediately purchased it and provided its trademark name of Cluedo. Although the patent was granted in 1947 due to post-war shortages in the UK, the game was not officially launched by Waddington's until 1949. It was simultaneously licensed to the Parker Brothers in the US for publication, when it was renamed Clue along with other minor changes.
Well, there you go. It's always interesting when you hear about these games and how old they are. Like, recent episode we talked about Parker Brothers, and that was really interesting. And some others. 17 that one was. So, okay. So that was all off Wikipedia. Now, I don't know if your game looks the same as ours. Does yours have the little painted miniatures like this? And
it does, but the people, they don't have, like, they're all one colour.
Right, okay. So
like, they're not like detailed skin colour and then like
so they're just yellow,
brown
blue.
and stuff.
Whereas these ones are really cool, aren't they? Because
Yeah.
the miniatures with the game we've got have, like, he's wearing yellow clothes and he's got a brown gun and socks that are brown.
Like in what's it called again? Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Oh yeah, they're very
actually
similar
painted,
to the Betrayal.
and that's what he would be wearing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's just like Betrayal at House on the Hill. That's what they would be wearing.
Yep, that's right. Which I've taken those and put them in Arkham Horror, but we won't tell anyone about that. What else is in the game? So in our game, we have the cards that represent the things that everyone gets dealt out. We played a 4-player game. We each got 4 cards, didn't we? 4 or 5 cards.
Me and you got 5 game, and me and so me and Caitlin got 5 game, and me and you got 5 game.
Right, I didn't notice.
And the other games, the other people got 4.
And does yours have the little metal objects?
Yeah.
Yep. So otherwise, it's the same.
Does it have the plastic rope?
Yeah.
Okay. So we all have that, and we have the one, and it's Mr. John Bodie, because you know how you asked, or you mentioned it's Europe and America have different
I think Australia has
people.
different.
So we're obviously in with the one that has Mr. John Bodie. Who did it? So this is a game that's been around for a long time.
Who did it? Where did it? And what did they do it with?
This game's been around for a long time, and it's hasn't really changed a lot. Although they do put in different ones, or it might be Doctor Who, or I don't know. They probably got a Star Wars, or
I think I have seen a Doctor Who Cluedo before.
yeah. I'm sure if we look up on BGG,
It actually looked
It'll
like
say.
it would. There would be a Doctor Who Cluedo.
yeah, I'm sure there is.
Mm,
So each player starts on the board, that's something I don't like, is that you're on the board.
Oh, so we were.
So
I think
if you roll a 1 or a 2, you're stuck in the hallway. What a silly idea for a game.
No,
Why don't we all just get a
only
guess every
complaining.
time?
You're only complaining because of that.
Yeah.
So, I just saw that. We're actually with the North American edition.
Okay, just make sure you, with 3 of us, you've got to make sure you're talking into that mic closer.
Because it just says, like, if you go through the weapons, there's, like, candlestick, dagger, knife in North American editions, which we have knife, lead pipe, revolver, rope, and spanner.
Maybe just so we explain a little bit about the gameplay, do you want to
more
maybe
setup
talk
than
about the
just
setup,
that.
Caitlin?
There's actually one more bit of setup
Yeah.
next to there, on the next page.
So if you just want to have a bit of a read, yep.
Look on the game board for the start space and suspect names nearest you. Take the suspect character, pawn as yours, and put it on that space. If fewer than 6 are playing, be sure to place the remaining character onto the appropriate names. They might, after all, be involved in the crime, and they must be on the premises.
Yep, keep
We
going.
actually just choose which one we wanted to be for the character,
Yeah, we chose, and then...
because it makes things easier, and then you're like, oh, now I'm going to sit here so then I can be this character, and then someone else wants to sit there because the character that they want to be is there.
Yep, okay, keep going, Caitlin.
Place each of the weapons in a different room. Select any select any 6 of the 9 rooms. Place the empty envelope marked case file confidential on the stairs in the center of the board. Sort the pack of cards into 3 groups: suspects, rooms, and weapons. Shuffle each group separately and place each face down on the table. Then, so no one can see them, take the top card from each group and place it into the envelope. The case file now contains the answer to the questions: who, where, what weapon. Shuffle together the 3 piles of the remaining cards, then deal them. Deal them face down. Clockwise around the table. It doesn't matter if some players receive more cards than others. Secretly look at your own cards because they're in your hand. They can't be in the case file, which means that none of your cards was involved in the crime.
So that's when you mark them down on your little player sheet. And there's one more setup or 2. Take a
You need to...
detective notebook sheet, which is what I said, you mark down what you've got. Fold it in half so no one can see the notes you make. And check off the cards that are in your hand if you wish. Like, I always do that so then you don't get confused.
Yeah, but you don't want anyone to see what you've done because otherwise Caitlin will
we
sneak
can
over and get a
sometimes see-
sneaky tick.
We can sometimes see yours because you're sitting right next to the mirror.
The problem with those little tickets is, if you ask a question and I go, and I know the middle one, but I don't know I know the middle one, but you don't know the top of the middle one. I show you the card, and I can tell if you're either ticking the top of the sheet or the bottom of the sheet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that you start going, oh, they're ticking that one. So then I start flipping my sheet upside down so no one knows.
Yeah, well, my mum she tricks people, so, like, she'll pretend to tick the top one, but then later on she'll tick.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just me.
Alright, 7. Miss Scarlet always goes first. Play then proceeds in turn
Oh, bless you.
to the first player left. But we don't know what happens if Miss Scarlet isn't involved in it.
Oh, well, she'll, yeah.
Probably the person next to
To
her
the
would
left,
do
you
it.
just go around.
So that would be the white one, and then it would be green.
Yep, so then you
No,
move
then it would be
move
mustard.
your player by rolling the dice.
White.
And you can move. That's when it gets to the bit that I don't like, when I get stuck in the passage.
I like that bit because I always get through the passage and you're always stuck in them.
Yeah, well, I hate the passage bit.
I rolled like a 12 on my first go, and I got straight into the room I wanted to be in, and I almost got that first guess correct.
Yeah,
Completely.
well, there you go.
I'm always the green one, so the ballroom's always pretty close. Only 7 to get there.
And then basically you just move around the little squares on the board. So that bit's roll and move. And then you get to... There is a secret passageway you can try and sneak
And
through from
every
the
time we
diagonal
played it,
corners.
The place it's been is in the lounge.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well,
Bad
when we were
shuffling
playing all
skills.
of us together, yeah, because we
Bad
played a couple
shuffling.
before we started.
Bad shuffling.
Then entering and leaving a room. You may enter or leave a room by rolling the dice and moving through a secret door, moving out through a secret passage. It's pretty simple. It's not rocket science. It's rocket science to guess it, on the first round.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could get it on the first round. That'd be pretty cool.
The only way you would get it is if you looked in the piece of paper.
So if you want to make a suggestion, so as soon as you enter a room, make a suggestion. By making suggestions throughout the game, you try to determine, by process of elimination, which 3 cards are in the confidential case file envelope. To make a suggestion, move a suspect and a weapon into the room that you just entered, then suggest that the crime was committed in that room by the suspect with that weapon. So let's say that you're Miss Scarlet and you enter the lounge. First move another suspect, Mr. Green for instance, into the lounge, then move a weapon, the wrench, perhaps into the lounge, then say, I suggest the crime was committed in the lounge by Mr. Green with the wrench. And then it goes around clockwise.
I remember...
So the person to your left has to try and then the next person, and each until someone has shown you a card that they have of those 3 things, so that proves it can't be.
I remember when I had no of the people cards in my hand at the start, and I kept having to accuse people to get it, and someone must have had Mr. Green card because he wasn't in the file, and I said him like 6 times, and he was myself.
Wasn't me.
Okay, so you want to just talk about how we end the game by making an accusation?
When you think you've figured out which 3 cards are in the envelope, you may, on your turn, make an accusation and name any 3 elements you want. First say, I accuse the suspect of committing the crime in the room with the weapon. Then, so no one else can see, look at the cards in the envelope. When making an accusation, you may name any room, unlike a suggestion where your character must be in the room you suggest.
Oh, because we did it that you had to be in the room that you do the accusation in.
And then, if you win the game if you're completely correct. If not,
You're
stick
eliminated.
them all back in and go, damn it,
You're eliminated, but you're allowed to
I'm
tell...
out, you can keep playing.
But you have to show other people your cards to prove them wrong.
So,
Still.
again, this is another
And
game
they
that
make
comes
the
in a long
suggestions.
box that really, it's just a little board, a few pieces.
No.
They could put that in a box.
No, but it needs
Half the
that
size.
box.
My box is smaller.
Is it?
Yeah.
our
It's
box
probably
is
about
bigger.
half the size. Like the Riscott box, which is like double the size of that box, though.
I think this was some special one, so that must be why.
It is the
And what's different with your game?
classic
Caitlin?
detective.
Oh, well, I think mine's the... Wait,
Because you had the Cluedo or Clue.
so you have Mr. Body, we have Mr. Black in mine, and
Oh.
you have the knife, we have the dagger.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
just minor changes, but everything else is the same.
It's the same. And you had other cards or something you said.
Oh, yeah. So in mine, on the dice, on one of the die, there is
Question mark, can you say?
a magnifying glass, and there are a bunch of cards with a magnifying glass on it. And so if you roll a magnifying glass, you get to pick up one of those cards, and it'll say, oh, someone's missing, or...
Miss
This-
Green's missing or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
And
Mr.
then
Grey, not Miss.
Oh.
that means... and that means you have to reveal that card, whoever has it. So it's like a free...
A free one.
Yeah.
That sucks for that person then. Because
Yeah.
they're giving up one of their secrets.
And then everyone else looks a lot like...
So
And then
did you
someone
say
says,
every time you have to pull
"Someone
over
was
one of
just
those
shot
cards?
by
Oh no,
the
when you roll the
Yeah,
dice.
when you
isn't it?
roll it.
Sorry, yeah.
Or like someone was shot by the revolver. Whoever has the revolver must reveal it so then they know who did it.
So now just looking on BGG, do you know BGG apart from what you heard on one of our early podcasts?
Game.
So it's just a website made just to talk about board games, and any board game you can
And
think of
card
would
game.
just about be on there.
Naughty
And card
games.
So and then all the community put in their votes and give what they think. So here they get rated nearly a 6, a 5.9 on this one of Clue. What? Oh,
Bless you.
Patrick. I'm sure everyone at home is glad they're hearing you sneezing. What would you rate the game at, Caitlin?
I would say an 8.
So you really like it,
8.5.
yeah? So an 8.5 for you?
Yeah.
And you wouldn't classify yourself as a big board gamer or anything, would you? Like
No.
just mass market type games
Yeah.
that you get at Target and
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright.
Although
what do you-
Spyfall's not.
What do you
Yeah.
rate it at?
I just rate it at probably a 6. Because it's a fun game that I can bring out with you guys.
Yeah.
And we know that you know how to play it. It's easy.
What's the rating that I normally say?
I don't know. You'll probably say 7 or 8.
9.
Oh, no, it's not a 9. What would you say?
8 or 9.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought you were joking. Okay. So
Probably because I always give out 8s, 9s,
I know.
and 10s.
all the board game people will be glad with your ones. Although we do normally only keep the ones that we do like. So a game everyone's probably heard of, Cluedo. I think we've covered that pretty well. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Spyfall.
Spyfall, made in 2014.
It's a game for 3 to 8 players. On BGG, it's rated 7.0. 15 minutes playing time. Age 12 plus. On the box, it says age 13 plus. Weight 1.25/5.
And it
Ooh,
says
so
here, the
the other
community
one's
says
easy
best
to-
with 6.
So Cluedo is harder to learn than this one.
Yeah, but 15 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, because they set your clock for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
You'll see in a minute when we talk about it. I think it's longer than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you were to play a few rounds and keep score.
No, that just means
we
like
never do that. We just play it.
15 minutes would be 1 round.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because you
what
keep
they do.
stopping the clock.
Okay, you want
Right,
to...
Spyfall is a party game unlike any other. One in which you get to be a spy and try to... I can't read that.
Try to-
Understand
Yep.
what's going on around you. It's really simple. Simple.
So, loose lips... This is reading from the book, the rule book. Loose lips sink ships is a saying that dates back to the days of World War II. It also represents a vital wartime principle. There were lots of things that could give spies away. Rust-free staples in their documents, square-headed nails in the soles of their boots, and so on. This game offers everyone an opportunity to walk a mile in the shoes of both a spy who's close to having their cover blown and the special agent who's hot on the spy's heels. You want to... Now, this is a hard game to explain. Every time we've played this and introduced this to people, maybe just us, but it's hard to actually get the gist of, what do you mean I'm going to have a card that doesn't have the picture on it that you guys all have?
Spy.
How am I going to ask a question when I don't know what it is? So,
The spy card looks so funny.
Yeah.
Because if you had a look at it, so there's the spy, and he's got this metal helmet on with 2 radars sticking out of his ears.
and you know when you get dealt the card, and you look at it and you go, I'm the spy. I got to keep looking at this card so no one sees me do nothing. Or
I try and trick people to make them think that I'm the spy, and then they lose.
all right, well,
and spy
Caitlin,
wins.
do you want to maybe read just a little bit? So, how many cards are in this game?
This game has 240 cards.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of cards. They give you lots of little bags that you can put them in, which is helpful because the way you set it up is, I don't know if it explains it, but before you even, as soon as you get the game, you rip open the packet of the deck of cards.
I don't
separate
think you rip
them.
it open. I think you open.
Well, that's true. Separate them into their groups. So there's theatre, spa, whatever.
Hospital.
And put the spy
It's a
card
day
on top.
spa.
Anyway, so that's fun. That explains that in the rules of how to go. So now, Caitlin, maybe you want to talk a bit about the idea of the game?
A game of Spyfall is made up of several short rounds. In each round, the player finds themselves in a location with a specific role assigned to each player. One player is always a spy who doesn't know where they are. The spy's mission is to listen carefully and identify the location, and also to not let people know that they're the spy. Each non-spy must give an oblique hint to the other non-spies, suggesting that he knows the location identity, thus proving he is not the spy. Observation, concentration,
Oh, what? Hold on, let me have a look.
It's
What
got
was that
some really
non-cliche?
hard
Where are
words
you up
for it.
to? Nonchalance,
Yep, that
which
word.
just means like whatever.
And cunning. You'll need all of them in this game. Stay on your toes.
Ah, yes, you need to stay on your toes.
Not on the tippy toe, on the very
Yeah, well, depends if
bottom
you're
of your
sneaking up
toes.
as a sneaky spy.
and you break your toe.
Yeah, do you want to just read a little bit more than what section's next? In the rulebook?
Objective.
The objective, yep.
The spy's objective is to avoid exposure until the end of a given round or identify the current location. The non-spy's objective is to establish consensus on the identity of the spy and expose him or her.
Yes. So,
Right, so
perhaps you have a go.
preparing for round 1. Before the first round begins, sort all the cards into your location decks. Each deck should have 7 cards with identical illustrations and 1 spy card. Each deck goes in a separate Ziploc bag. All cards should be face down with the spy card on top. All the locations are shown in the middle spread of the rule book, which is the next page from this page. Rule book. The players are advised to study it well before the first round begins. We just keep it open, so then we just look. So because
but you've got to be looking all
confused.
the time, because otherwise people know when you're the spy. That's so
all the
funny.
locations are shown in the middle spread of the rulebook. The players are advised to study it well before the first round begins. This should give the potential spies an idea of the kinds of locations they will have to choose from during the game. We strongly advise the spies not to study the middle spread during the game. That's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, so we leave it open all the time, and then we all spend time looking at it all the time, so that doesn't happen. Because most of the time we're playing this with people that haven't played.
I was gonna say,
and we don't
but,
play a lot, so you need that clue.
We haven't opened up all of them.
No.
We only have limited ones. So it confuses us all. Like, if you answer, was it raining? If you ask that, and then they say, no. Because there isn't anywhere where it's raining or stuff like that.
So we've just opened one of the deck of cards that come of the 3 decks of cards. So you get loads of game time. And we've played this many times, and we've just played with the school, the day spa, the ocean liner, the university, the passenger train, the zoo, supermarket, submarine, space station, and the theatre. And we haven't had any problems with the times we've played.
You know,
It's
when
not like
you
you can play
have
it
to
all
ask
day.
questions in the game, these are the only questions that I really ever ask. What was it again? Is there a person wearing black?
Yeah.
Or is the person wearing black look like he's doing a poo?
Oh, what? That's because all the cards have the spy
Because
guy.
in the day spa, he's like passing the
He's
drinks,
leaning over.
and it looks like he's trying to do a poo.
Oh, great! Thanks. Way to bring the content down, Patrick. Yeah, you got to come
But
up
it
with
looks like those
fun
are the
ways
2
to ask
questions
the
I
questions.
only ever asked questions.
But
Or are you about to freeze to death or something like that?
yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the spy's on every card, and he's doing something sneaky each time. And
when I ask the question,
just-
sometimes you get confused. Like when it's the university, you're like, no, but he's wearing a white coat, playing with all these potion bottles that could make an explosion, which he shouldn't be doing.
yeah. So where were we up to?
And there's a guy with piranhas in that card.
Where were we up to? Yeah.
That's
So
you.
no, you guys go. I'd rather see.
Each game is a series of short rounds, the number of which is agreed upon by the players before the beginning of the game. We recommend playing 5 rounds for your first session. This should take about an hour.
Yeah, that's right. I'd say. I think that's what we played. But we did it pretty quick. If you wanted to shorten the game, you could make the rounds, instead of being 8 minutes long, you could make them 5 or 6 minutes and do it really quick.
Half the time I pretend to be the spy and you're like, Caitlin's like, I know who it is, it's Patrick. And then you try and make an accusation.
He always looks
You
guilty.
like to mess it up, don't you?
Yeah.
A new dealer is chosen for each round. The dealer participates in the game as a regular player. The most suspicious looking player is the dealer in the first round. This player takes all the card Ziploc bags out of the box, turns them face down, shuffles them, and chooses random Ziploc bag. The dealer then removes the cards from the selected Ziploc bag very carefully to avoid turning them over.
Yeah, you can keep going.
You go from
There?
Yeah.
Where are you finished?
So basically, you're just picking. We only do it between 8 of them, but if we set them all up, there'd probably be 20.
The dealer
sets.
selects a number of cards that corresponds to the number of players from the top of each stack. Shuffle them and give a card to each player. If there are 5 players, 5 cards are played. The remaining cards are not turned over, but you have to put the spy on top, otherwise there isn't one.
Yeah, you need to make sure the spy goes in before, when you set the game up.
Shuffle them and give a card to each player. If there are 5 players, 5 cards are played.
Yeah.
The remaining cards are not turned over. Put them aside carefully. You won't be needing them. The spy might see them if you do it
Yeah,
wrong.
you want to we keep them in the bag just to be sure.
Unless the spy's the one that dealed it, and then they go, ooh, now I know where it is. Now I'm just going to go, stop the clock. I know.
Yeah, I know. It's always like, stop the clock, I think I know.
Or it's like, stop the clock, I think I know who it is, the
Yeah,
spy.
it started. Okay.
The dealer starts a stopwatch and the game begins. The dealer then asks one of the players a question, calling them by name. Tell me, John. The question usually pertains to the current location. This is prudent, but not mandatory. Questions are asked once. No follow-up questions are allowed. Responses can take any form. The player who answers the question proceeds to ask any other player a question of their own, but cannot ask a question of the player who just asked them a question.
When I say this is the only card I've only ever said does the man in black look like he's doing a poo? But I normally always say, like, is there a man in black? And then you always say yes, because there's one in every, like,
There is.
in the casino.
He's wearing a black and white one in the
University.
university.
Yeah, he's got a black, white coat.
Okay, keep going,
And
Caitlin.
in the casino, he's actually, like, up to his chest is actually showing up on the screen.
Oh, is it? Oh, see, you've studied these things.
The order in which the questions are asked is established by the players themselves and based on the suspicions they have after hearing the questions and answers.
Yep. So, and then you can just go around, and you look for a little obscure thing. Have you ever heard of the 38? And it might be the train card, and on the train down the bottom it's got the 38 Express or something, and just a little clue like that. Or
Once I was the spy and you had the ocean liner, and I had no clue until I accidentally saw a little bit of your card, which had a little bit of, like, black sky in it.
Yeah, but by then it was too late because I asked you a question because you've got 2 little toys that you like, penguin and a dog, and I said, is your dog's friend there? He smacks his head because he goes, oh no, I messed up. And you said no, he doesn't have any friends there, and I knew that meant that you didn't know what card we had.
No, I said no, he doesn't have any other friends.
Yeah, but if you had have had the card in front of you, you would have seen the penguins and gone, oh yeah, Cutie P's there.
Well, I wasn't looking
Well,
at that.
you wouldn't
If
have to say
I had
that,
looked
everyone
at
would
that,
know.
I would have gone, stop the clock. It is the ocean liner. That's what I was going to do.
Also, if you're not the spy, your card also tells you the role at your location, which can give you some ideas for questions. Like in the supermarket, you might be the baker or whatever it is.
And in the supermarket, the spy's really hard to find. He's actually dressing up as a girl shopping.
It says that the players should agree before they start the game whether you're going to play according to your role, if you're the baker or not, and they say that they recommend it. Like if you're a college professor and somebody asks you why you missed the faculty meeting, you can explain about your age and your
We don't actually
arthritis.
do that.
If you're a student, you might want to express your outrage at not having been invited to the senior faculty. We use it more as a clue that I know a job that might be there, is what you do. So then the end of the
you
round.
find out what it is easier by just
Do you want to
looking
read
at
the end of the round, Patch?
Yeah, sure.
Just quickly?
By just looking at their job. Like, if you can think of their job, like if you ask, what's your job like? And then they go, oh yeah, it's not that great. Or what's it like doing your
But you've
job
got to be
there?
careful that you don't give too much information because then the spy's like, I know. Isn't
Yeah.
it funny though, Caitlin? Often you think, I know who it is, and then a question will get asked and you go, oh no, I don't.
Yeah.
A round ends when one of the following 3 things happen. 1. 8 miniatures have passed.
8 miniatures or 8 minutes?
8 minutes.
What are these little creepy
These
spies go past? You got miniatures on the brain.
Because we were just talking about
Yeah.
Cluedo. 8 minutes have passed. When the time runs out, players are all now free to openly discuss their suspicions, but may not announce the location or ask information contained on the location card. An accusation phase commences. During each round of this phase, one player will accuse another player of being the spy and put it to a vote. That's all it said.
The other players vote. The dealer gets to make the first accusation. So whoever deals, okay, I'm going to make the first accusation. I think it's Caitlin. Does everyone agree it's Caitlin?
No.
Yes or no?
8 miniatures say no.
And if it's not, it keeps going around till now. Now, when a player gets suspicious, okay, so that's the second way it can stop. So each player may stop the clock once per round to declare one of the players a suspect and ask everyone to vote. So 2 minutes in, I go, I think it's Caitlin, stop the clock. But the only problem with doing that is...
When 2 miniatures have passed.
Yeah, but you only get one opportunity to do it. So before I did that in one of the games when we were playing, and then I couldn't change it later.
At one point, I was the only person that had a guess left.
It's like everyone in Dead of Winter, which is a game with these zombies, and someone can be the fake, the betrayer, and if you accuse them and you're not, anyway, that leads down a whole nother path. And so if the spy is revealed, each of the non-spy players win. If a non-spy is revealed, the spy wins. But if there is not unanimous agreement, restart the clock, and the player who made the accusation cannot use this action again this round. But can still make an accusation after the time has run out. If it's in the best players, it's in the player's best interest to perform this action. It might also benefit the spy to use this action in order to get everyone looking in your direction instead of, hey, well, I'm fine over here. I'm not doing anything.
So when they vote, if, like, let's say one miniature doesn't say, yeah, I agree, and then that one doesn't say they agree, the other, it doesn't go, it has to be, everyone has to vote.
Yeah, everyone has to, yeah. And then the other way is, at the spy's request, the spy can stop the clock at any time, unless it's been stopped by someone else, and reveal their spy card, and then allowed to have a guess. Allowed to look at the list and take a guess, and identify the current location. The spy wins if they get this right, which I did.
And I kept throwing the cards onto the table.
One of them was because your mum said about the hair, and then what was the other thing she said? Oh, did something go wrong there or something?
Said that,
or
yeah.
you said did something go wrong?
No, you said.
And I'm like, I remember that the laboratory, or is it university, has that tank that's broken in the background, and the guy's got spiky hair.
No, it isn't a broken tank. It's actually a tank with piranhas in it.
Oh, well, that's
Same thing.
That's bad. It's gonna be broken.
That's worse than a broken tank.
And then once the round is over, the cards from that round are returned to the dealer and can no longer be played in the current game. We put them back in the zip bag, put the spy card on top,
and back in the box.
Whack them away in the box. There's plenty of ways you can play this game. They give you a whole thing there of objectives and strategies, but we won't go into that.
Like
it's hard
West.
enough. I like how your mum in the first round had no idea what we're doing. And you know what? Whenever you play with someone, you got no idea. Everyone is like, what? But I don't get it. And
at one point I was going to ask a question about one of the other things that wasn't in it. I like the military base. I was going to ask a question to do with that.
Yeah, because we don't have all them out.
And then it gets the spy totally off what they're going to do, what they think it is, and they think it's something totally different.
So there's some scoring. You tally up the points earned. Now, the spy earns 2 points if no one's correctly convicted. The spy earns 4 points if a non-spy player is successfully convicted of being a spy. And they earn 4 points if the spy stops the game and successfully guesses the location.
So the spy gets some other
If you were
points.
going to score. Now, we've never scored. Each non-spy player earns a point, and the player who initiated the successful conviction of the spy earns 2 points instead. Whoever scores the most points after the agreed upon number of rounds.
It's really going to be the
wins.
spy no matter what, because he earns more points than anyone else.
Yeah, but you only get to be the spy. You get to be the spy less. So in 4-player game, you're only the spy once on average, 4 games. But 3 out of 4 games, you're going to be the group trying to get them. So you have less chance to. So when you're the spy, you want to maximise getting the points. Because it's harder to win when you're the spy.
And then you just got to listen to their questions really hard and hope they don't ask you one for a while, and then you've got the idea. Or you can just stop the clock and say, I know where it is and I'm the spy. It is the day spa.
So, Caitlin, as a not a real big board gamer, you like board games. You like Billionaire, card games, Uno, Top Trumps.
Yeah.
We've shown you this game and you've actually really enjoyed it, haven't you? I really want to get you to play Betrayal at House on the Hill.
The first time we played this was at our granny's.
Because I think there's a lot of games, and that's what we are hoping to get people into.
Betrayal at House on the Hill is probably one that you would actually like.
Yeah, we really want to get people into games with this. So, what would you rate this game as? You've played it a few times now.
I would say like an 8.5 to 9.
Okay,
I really like it.
So you really like it. So you'd put this one above Cluedo.
Yeah.
If you were doing your top 3. Yeah. And what about you, Paige?
What about you? Because I like listening to other people's ratings.
Let's give it I really want to play it in a group of 8.
Yeah,
that's my aim. I really want to. We need to take it to Mum's, and when we've got the family get together, have it as a big group of 8. I'm going to give it a 7 to 8, 7.5,
8 to 9.
As a fun group game.
8 to 9 again.
8 to 9 for you. Yeah, all of yours are.
Some are 10, like Top Drums.
Okay, Bond, James Bond. Is there anything else we need to add to this, or Mrs. Bond?
Nope. Okay, so there you go, Caitlin. There's your 2 games. What about your third?
My third game would probably be Billionaire.
Billionaire.
Yep.
One, two, 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 two.
Yeah, 2 anywhere.
Billionaire.
Yeah, that is a fun game. We like that. We haven't played that for a little while. That's a good summer game. That brings back memories of.
And we normally have like 8 people playing into like.
We always play it when we go camping.
Do you?
Like two,
right,
two.
so you take it camping.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's an easy game because you only need the table.
Yeah.
It's a small box.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a good game. We should talk about that one time because that's an easy card game.
Except we don't have it.
Well, you don't need to. We don't need to have it. We know
we have
played the
recently.
game. Exactly. Well, there you go. Well, hopefully we get some emails from you in the future, Caitlin.
Yeah.
And you might even want to come back and join in again when it's another game that you really want to talk about. And we need to get you to play Betrayal at House on the Hill. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
It'll be good. You've listened to a few of our episodes, haven't you?
Most of them, yes.
Oh, have you? Okay. And what else is there? Have you enjoyed being here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd come again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would. You have to tell your friends. Yeah. Then they might listen, and then they can email us their favourite 3 games. That'll be
Do you
good.
need to say the email on the Twitter?
Yeah, go for it.
So, email us in at
Email.
BoardGameBasics at BoardGameBasicsPodcast@outlook.com, and our Twitter is BGB at capital B for Board Game Basic 1.
Yep, that's it. If anyone, you don't have Twitter, do you, Caitlin? No. And we should. I don't know if we should do Instagram one day because that seems to be the
I
thing.
can run your Instagram.
Do you do Instagram?
I'm a pro at Instagram.
Oh, so you have it.
Yeah.
So if we have Instagram, then you can follow us.
Yes.
Okay, this sounds like something we need to set up sometime, hey Pat?
Yeah, don't make it too hard.
Another thing I've been thinking of, we'll see if anyone lets us know. I've been thinking, what if one day we hire a hall and we get a heap of people aged from 8 to 15 to come, and we'll teach them how to play all these cool
Oh, that'd
other
be
games.
cool.
That
you
would be
think?
so fun.
That would be sick.
Of
yeah.
not just like Monopoly and Game of
you
Life
haven't
and all
even
that,
told
but
me about
other
that idea
games.
before.
No, I
Yeah.
know. I've been thinking about it. It could be Betrayal at House on the Hill, or it could be Spyfall.
It could be more than one
That's a
game.
cool
though.
idea.
And it might just be like, oh, you pay
Like
$5
you could
to
teach
get
them
in as a
more than
family or
one
something.
game.
That's cool.
So you think that might, as an older,
Yeah.
you think that
But
might
you
be
could
fun?
also have adults come in and do it.
Yeah, well, but it would be about the kids.
Mm.
We could do one about the kids. You need someone to find someone to run a D&D session over there. So D&D, Caitlin, Dungeons and Dragons. So it's like a choose your own adventure game, and you roll dice. And we've only just sort of gotten a little bit into it. We need a GM that can get us to play. So GM, Game Master. They're like the umpire,
Yeah.
and they read the book. They say, "Oh,
That's
you've come across some goblins. What are you gonna do?" And you'll look at your sheet, and you're good at sneaking, so you might sneak up to see what the goblins are doing, or Patrick might launch an arrow at them.
We've only just finished that part of it.
Yeah, I know, of the starter edition. Yeah, we should talk about that sometime. Okay, so anyway, they're just thoughts that I've been thinking of. I don't know. We always want to hear from people that might have listened. Please, we love to hear anything that you would have to say. That you hate this show, or that you've enjoyed it, or something that you would like us to talk about. Just hearing anything would be good.
Recommend a game that we haven't talked about or we might not have to for us to get and then talk about.
Yeah, that's right. Your top 3 games. Like Caitlin's come in. We had to get her in to do this. Next year, I'll have to get a Wizard of Oz game.
Oh, yes.
Because there's an unlocked Wizard of Oz, which is an escape room. And, But it's a game.
Yeah.
And there's a Wizard of Oz one that everyone says is really good. We
Oh,
should get
like the
that.
movie.
'cause
Like
you'll
That
like
would be so good.
Like
Being
the
that
movie
you
Wizard
and
of
Mika
Oz?
and your cousin are also going to be a part of the Wizard of Oz in
Daddy.
Adelaide.
Daddy, the Wizard of Oz movie.
Yeah, based on that. It's a game with little
Where
puzzles
is
and
he?
things.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, lots of ideas and things to do.
Yeah.
Summertime, you beauty, holidays in Australia. Always
fun.
good. Lots of sun, except for the 40-degree days. That gets a bit hot, which is 100 and whatever in England, in America. All right, yep. So we've given our email. We have given our Twitter. We haven't given our Instagram, but soon Caitlin will be sorting this out for
Oh,
us.
yes, I will.
Anything else, Patch, that you want to talk about?
Nah.
No? All right. Getting tired. Another long day. We need to go get some swimming in.
Nah.
Might need a heated pool today, but other days. All right. You want to take us
So
out?
that's bye from me.
Oh, well, hold on. Before you do, is there anything you need to say to Caitlin?
Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been good, hasn't it? It's good that you came up and joined in.
Yeah.
So now, that's bye from... Thanks for listening. So that's bye from me.
Bye from me.
And that's bye from me.
Gee, I've got you two going crazy here. Summer loving had me a blast. All right. Well, it's been good having you come in, Caitlin.
It's been good being here.
Looking forward to a long summer down here before we get to the winter.
Yes.
Cold,
most
cold,
of it.
cold winter.
We keep rubbing this in to anyone that's in the United States. But anyway. I don't know. Well, that's been fun. Hopefully you come and join us again sometime. Don't forget you need to be near the microphone if you want us to hear you. So thanks very much. You know what? Because it's the summer edition, I am going to read a joke. So I've stolen Mika's book and I'm going to read one out of there. What kind of cars do Jedis drive?
What?
To Toyotas.
Get it? Yoda.
No, I don't get it.
Toyota. Toyota Yoda.
Yes, I get it. Caitlin.
Okay. How does the man in the moon get his hair cut? He clips it.
Very good.
What do you get if you cross a pig and a cactus?
No idea.
A pork up pine. A pork a pine. What's a pig's?
Oh, this is crazy town now. Look at this. It's descending to chaos.
What's a pig's favourite holiday?
Christmas.
Hoggy Halloween.
What's this? Let me have a look. Hoggy Halloween. I don't know that one. How about you finish with another one?
Why do bicycles fall over? Because they are too tired.